Hello everyone and welcome to the debrief of West Ham United 3, Fulham 2. I'm not going to lie, I'm still buzzing. I'm still buzzing about the win last night. As always, this is a show where we take a look and see what the Hammer Chat subscribers are saying. I get the gist from the match review last night, read the comments, get the vibe, discuss it with people in the live chat. And then if you're watching it later on today, get involved in the comments below because I'll be having a look and seeing what you think of the game yesterday too. Anyway, I'm going to get into it. It's fun. The fun is back. Winning football games should be fun. And I think when we beat Newcastle, it was fun. When we beat Ipswich, it was fun. But the last couple of victories under Lopetegui didn't really have that element to it. We beat Wolves, we beat Southampton. But that feeling had been taken away a little bit because you felt like the performance wasn't very good. You'd won the game, but it wasn't great. And going into next game, you didn't feel more confident. Put it this way, my confidence for Crystal Palace on Saturday has gone up because of the win last night. And weirdly, because of the defeat against Villa. But because of that win last night, my confidence for the next game has increased. We would beat Wolves and we'd beat Southampton. My confidence for the next game would decrease. Now, of course, there's an asterisk applied to that, which was after Southampton, we played Liverpool. But even if we were playing Liverpool this weekend, I would feel more hopeful than I did 24 hours ago with the win in between. Fun has returned to West Ham. It wasn't a perfect performance. I don't really care. I think when you're down to sort of, the players available, you're not going to get that type of performance. You're not going to get the just beautiful football or anything. There's going to be an element of luck to it. I don't care. There's an element of luck to most teams' wins these days. I am pleased. I'm enjoying it. And I watched the review. I didn't watch my own review. I was reading the comments in the review this morning. People just seem happier. People seem more excited for the next game. And I think Potter's brought the fun back. Right, let's take a look and see what you're saying. In the live chat, Paul's saying, was impressed with Alvarez. Looked like at least two occasions where he would usually have lunged in, but he stayed on his feet. Marley liked how we tried to press more. Steve's getting excited. Think about how better we will be with Somerville, Bowen and Todibo back. And fingers crossed we get a striker in. He thought the team played for Potter last night. Everyone battled hard. Man of match Wan-Bissaka for him, but what a difference in Paqueta and Alvarez. Looked a bit like their old self again. Matt has got a good feeling about Saturday and is hoping that Somerville will be available for Potter. I think he will be. Just going by what Potter said in the press conferences and stuff, I think Somerville will be okay for Saturday. But we'll wait and see. Colin says, great to see organisation and passion from the team onwards and upwards. That's very true. Adrian says we can get in a striker before Saturday and a couple of players back. I think the feel-good factor for the squad would elevate their belief even higher. Gary says the feel-good factor is back. Love that. Steve, bless you. Steve's auntie passed away on Sunday morning. I had a feeling West Ham were going to win that for her. Very proud time. But they did, Steve. They did win it for her. I hope you're doing okay and hope the family are doing okay. Commiseration. That's sad, that. Lewis said we played like a team who've been told to go out and play. Dan says, remember Lopetegui saying we need to wait until May to see progress. Potter's been here less than a week and a half, and we've already seen some progress. Oh, with half a team. I thought you said he's been here a week and a half. He's been here for less than a week with half a team. I completely agree with that one. Kerwin Orr says, positive, he's back after weeks of dross. Duke says, was it perfect? No. Do I care? No. Roll on Saturday. I love that. I absolutely love that. Paul says, Potter's been a breath of fresh air through the club. Long may it continue. Barry will be happy when we get Bowen and Somerville back. And Todibo, we're looking like a good team again. Mark saying Paqueta and Alvarez ran themselves into the ground. Dobby saying team spirit building performance. Mark said when he saw the lineup, I thought, oh no, but I realised I was looking through Lopetegui's specs. Anthony says, looks like Potter's a coach who can get the best out of what he's got. Total opposite to Lopetegui. Joshua says it's magic. What happens when you don't tell the slow centre midfielder, such as Guido Rodriguez, to cover the entire half himself? Don't think he was amazing, but looked so much better. I thought he was good. Again, not amazing, not one of the contenders for man of the match, and there's quite a few of them. He was solid, did his role, and did it quite well. Mitch says it annoys him. What could have been if we got Potter this summer? There's an element of that. I'm not going to lie. But better late than never. The one thing I will say, I think there's enough time between now and the end of the season. Yes, even just after the Leicester game, before the Wolves game, what difference it could have made. But we went on to pick up 8 points out of 12. So had Potter come in and we'd got the results Lopetegui did in those 4 games, I would have been happy with it. So yes, he should have been brought in earlier. However, there's 17 Premier League games to go now. That's enough time to... We're only 3 points off the top half. We're 3 points away from 10th in the table. Someone... I want to say it was Chippy, but I could be wrong. Someone commented on the Villa review, or I think it was this video. I think it was this video on Saturday morning after the Villa game. We got beat. And he or she commented and said, I've just put money on West Ham finishing the top half at 7-1. We just lost a game of football and they were backing us to go into the top half of the table and finish there in May. But I got it. I understood. I got what they were suggesting. I went and had a look at the league table and thought, do you know what? We're not that far away. So I had a dabble as well. And the odds are coming to 5-1 now. So if you want West Ham to finish in the top half of the table, you can get 5-1. But 7-1 was recommended on Saturday. And thanks to them, I'm on it too. And fingers crossed, we could be celebrating. I say celebrating top half. I'm celebrating a win against the bookies. But listen, you beat Crystal Palace. We beat Palace on Saturday. This is when I did my expectations for Potter video, innit? I said, I'm looking at it as an 8-month pre-season. However, we lose 3 games in a row, you're in a relegation battle. But if you win 3 games in a row, suddenly you're thinking, can we possibly push for European football? And I think the answer is maybe. It's 1 game at a time, though. Crystal Palace up next. Let's see what we do. But if we get 3 points against Palace, and it's not a ridiculous suggestion, we could be 10th on Saturday night, which would be incredible, really. And then you start to look up rather than down. So I'm excited. It's fun. Fun is back. Hammer said thoughts on Soucek as captain. Yeah, loved it. I thought there was examples of his good leadership in the last couple of games. I never really had much doubt of Soucek as a captain. I think he's captain for his country, and there's a reason every manager picks him and loves him. And it's not just on the pitch; it's off the pitch too, probably. Yeah, good performance. I'd still keep Bowen as captain, by the way, but I think Soucek as vice captain is a very good person to have there in and around the team. Like I said, when we got our 3rd goal, I like the fact that Soucek went to Danny Ings to say well done and what he did. That was I like seeing stuff like that. It's like when Scarra did that block at the end and then closed Traoré down when he lashed it wide. Danny Ings went straight over to him and gave him his high five and gave him a cuddle and started speaking into his ear. That's leadership from Danny Ings as well. I've heard good things, by the way, about Danny Ings on the training ground. When Callum Marshall joined Huddersfield, and he did a little interview with, I don't know, the Huddersfield Chronicle or whoever it was, the local newspaper for Huddersfield fans. And in there, he spoke about Danny Ings. He said that Ings has been fantastic with him on the training pitch, and in training, he would miss a chance, and Ings would be the first person that says to him, forget about it, look, get on with it, just forget, you've missed, doesn't matter, get going, because if you think about it, your confidence is going to drop, it's going to impact the rest of your performance. So he was just giving Danny Ings a lot of credit for his development at West Ham, and I like that. You can't underestimate that. While Ings isn't, the best player in the world, and when he leaves in the summer, we'll look back at his transfer as a poor one. He did well last night, and obviously had a vital role. I mean, he's had a vital role against Fulham at Craven Cottage as well, so they're going to hate Danny Ings. But I think sometimes we can underestimate the influence of certain players on the training pitch. And I'm not saying that, we should give Danny Ings a new contract because he's good on the training ground, but it was like when we signed David Martin as a 3rd goalkeeper, and I went and did a little research as to who David Martin was. I didn't know anything about him except that he was Alvin's son. That was all I knew. And very quickly it became clear that he's very good with the young goalkeepers on the training pitch, and that he's very good in the changing room. And that's what you need when you bring in a third keeper. Your role is ultimately, can you bring something to the changing room? Can you bring something? Can you influence the club? Because you're not going to play on a Saturday. So how are you going to make West Ham better? And I think Martin did that. I don't know if West Fodringham's doing that. Couldn't tell you. But I just think sometimes the leadership qualities in some players, we don't see it. We don't see it as fans. It happens Monday to Friday on the pitch. We just judge them on 90 minutes on a Saturday afternoon. Adrian says, starting to get excited for the next season with a full squad under the Wizards. David said, full smiles on all our faces this morning. What difference a top coach makes. Cole says, yesterday was incredibly poor, but fingers crossed the future is bright. We got lucky. And if it was Lopetegui who got the result, the reaction from fans would have been complete opposite. I disagree. The reason I disagree is because Lopetegui had been here for 8 months now. 7, yes, it's May, so 7 months is December. So this would have been Lopetegui's 8th month at West Ham. So I think it's fair to expect improvement. If there hadn't been any, it's right to criticise him. Graham Potter had been here for less than a week. Of course, the reaction to Potter and Lopetegui is going to be different off that performance, and it should be different. Graham Potter's been here less than a week. I don't think you can compare someone that's been here 8 months to somebody that's been here a week and judge them on the same level. I think that's, well, harsh. I think it's unfair, to be honest with you. So maybe it would be different if it was Lopetegui got a result, but it's a completely different set of circumstances. That's how I see it. Frank says, early days, I know, but there seems to be a new vigour about the team. Hope they keep it up. Lewis is saying, who do we think next youngster to get a chance to play in starting 11 is? He reckon it'll be Orford. Probably. I think playing a centre-back, a young centre-back, I think is difficult. I think it takes, if Scarra makes a mistake, he's got Kilman behind him. Or last night he had Aaron Caswell behind him and Kilman behind him. There's protection for those players. If you put Orford in, makes a mistake, he's probably got Edson Alvarez next to him, beside him. He's got the centre-backs behind him. It's unlikely to cause a goal. A centre-back makes a big mistake, it possibly leads to a goal-scoring opportunity or something. I think it's a more unforgiving role. It's equivalent of goalkeepers when goalkeepers say, hey, when we make a mistake, we let one in. A striker misses a one-on-one. They've got, they can redeem themselves. Nothing actually happens. We just don't score a goal. So I think it's harder. So yeah, I'd say Lewis Orford as well. Seeing him on the bench was a big plus. Infinitely says, what difference today makes? Nice to see Hammer's chat. It can making tactical change in praising rather than losing it in Tash in their arms. And a head coach. There you go. I just assumed HC meant Hammer's chat. Infinitely says, what difference a day makes? Nice to see a head coach making tactical changes and praise rather than losing it and thrashing their arms. Hammerton says, great to see us stick together and not fold under the early pressure. Also great to see a manager who's encouraging his players, not going ballistic on the touchline. Mitchell loved seeing the reaction of Potter last night, celebrating goals, appraising people for the hard work, and just gets the players and the club. Atas says, Potter made great use of his team. He played a compact system which suited Rodriguez and Alvarez because he's got pace. That's something Lopetegui flopped at totally, wanting to force things. Mark said a head coach knows what he's doing is very refreshing. Usual Suspect says, seen a post from a Tottenham channel crying about West Ham being above them. Well, hopefully this is I quite like it. Listen, I quite like it. I don't get caught up too much in all the rivalry, but listen, I'd be lying if last night and I seen us leapfrog Man United and Spurs. I'd be lying if I didn't smile. I loved it. I'm assuming Man U will beat Southampton. This might be the first time this season and only time this season I'm going to be hoping, wanting an Arsenal win. I want Arsenal to beat Tottenham this week so we stay above Spurs. I like it, right? So I find it very easy to be selfish, by the way, when wanting certain teams to win. I find it incredibly easy to want what's best for West Ham, and I think Arsenal beating Tottenham is what's best for West Ham. Just like I think Southampton beating Man U is what's best for West Ham. So Come on the Gunners and come on the Saints. By the way, a little bit of fun. We're 15 minutes in. I think it's safe to put a little bit of fun in here. Some Arsenal fans are calling him Decline Rice because of his form. It's tickled me. It's still amusing me. Decline Rice. Quite funny. Good one, whoever came up with that one. Joshua said even the question of who will be the next young player to play wouldn't have been asked under Lopetegui. Potter seems so far the perfect fit for the fans, not just the team. Lewis says Lopetegui was hired to be head coach, but he started acting like a manager. I reckon Potter is going to be the head coach, as Tim wanted from the beginning. A different Joshua says Romano linked us with Daniel Cummings, a promising young striker from Soucek, 24 goals in 24 games. The context, I've not seen that. Assuming you're not tricking me here, Joshua, you better not be. I recognise the name, but it's 24 goals in 24 games. It's not for the first team. Okay, I don't know. I haven't Googled it. This is the first I've seen it. I'm assuming you are being legit because I think it's a very random thing to make up. Why would you link us to a reserve player at Celtic? That stat is from Celtic's reserve team. That's not for the first team. He doesn't play for Celtic's first team. So that would be the equivalent of somebody, last season wanting Callum Marshall and but look, he scored X amount of goals and Y amount of games. It's true, but it's a bit misleading. It's not their first team. Good young striker. I heard good things about him. Can't say I've watched him or anything like that, but I've heard good things about him. You get this when players come through in Scotland. You can hear about them just like you do in England. Like Mickey Johnson was one of them, who's at West Brom. There was a lot of hype about him before he even got on the bench at Celtic. So we'll see. But yeah, not the first team. I don't know if Romano's worded it badly or something. Mark said, I like the way Potter reacted to Silva subs. Yes, especially the Adama Traore one. I absolutely loved that. Dan says, personally, I think we need a centre-back more than a centre midfielder. Striker is obviously a priority. I'm inclined to agree with that, to be honest with you. I think last night we showed that we've got midfielders, and even Lloyd saying Andy Irving looked tidy, although he did get caught once. But I've seen us give the squad a chance. Back-to-back games to Scarra. Yeah, listen, Irving did get caught, but he's not had much game time, and I think it was nice to see him come on, actually, and that's a big confidence boost for him. It's got to be a big confidence boost because the game was in the balance when he come on. It's not like we were previously when he's come on, we've been getting smashed. It's, against Liverpool, we were, 4-1 down or whatever. Oh, we'll give Irving 20 minutes. It's like he's running around trying, and Liverpool had given up. Like I said, I felt a bit embarrassed for him because he's running around giving everything, and the Liverpool midfield just can't be bothered playing anymore. But to put him on when it was meaningful, I think that's good. I think he looked up for it. He made a mistake, but I think we can shrug it off a little bit. Hammerhead says centre-backs need more clinical when tracking forwards. It happened twice, made it easier for them to get... I agree with that, by the way. I do agree with that one. Adam, Dad's Our Job said, West Ham say Porto is a young Dutch winner. I have no idea how you pronounce that guy, or if it's one of those trick ones where if I read it out, it's going to be naughty. I'm not reading it. I don't even know how to try and pronounce it. I'm going to move on. Angus said it was good to see Potter make a change early on, which led to 2 quick goals. How often will we waste the first hour of a match over the last few seasons, persisting with the same tactics? Completely agree. I was excited. To discuss it in the review. Peter said there was a lot of potential on the bench last night, but it was also a worryingly weak bench. Both things are correct. Lloyd said with Irving, it's weird because I know he cost $1.5 million. It's like I expect him to be rubbish. He looks rusty with great left foot and puts a shift in. Mark says Snyden's players are a problem anymore. Or all along it was having the Scottish David Moyes rather than the Spanish David Moyes. Adam saying, damn it, lot. Well, the thing is, with the players that we brought in, I do think a lot of people. Okay, it was a spell from Harry Potter. Oh, unlucky, Adam. You nearly got me. No, I'm not watched or read Potter, so I'm a novice. You nearly caught me out. In regards to, the Steiden thing, I think most people said with Rodriguez, he's just not suited to the Premier League and he's not suited to the tactics. I read this channel gets over 3,000 comments a month, and I read, I don't know, 2,500. There's some that I will miss, right? But I read majority, and I'm trying to read them all. And I think a lot of people were very understanding of the situation with Rodriguez, and I think majority said it's because of Lopetegui, and he's too slow for the Premier League, and Lopetegui is exposing that. I think that was most people's evaluation, which I think was very fair. And I think the way Porto plays, we can eliminate that requirement for pace in central midfield. I'm looking forward to it. I can't remember which video I said it in. I might have said it on Patreon. It's the problem when we do Patreon. Sometimes we'll say things. We do the player ratings very soon. I don't know what time. Let me see if Gonzo's messaged me. No, so he's not up yet. He is. He's got a dog and kids. But when we do the player ratings today, I'm looking forward to discussing something Potter did with Mavropanos. And so sometimes we'll say something over on that platform, and I can't recall where I said it. But with Rodriguez, I was looking forward to seeing him under Potter because of the way Potter plays with his box midfield. That would help Rodriguez. And there's a little bit of confirmation bias last night because I thought he had a solid game. So I'm thinking, yeah, my theory's proven correct so far. But I don't think it's being proven correct. I think we need more games. And I don't think Fulham's midfield is the quickest. They tend to be quite wing heavy. Crystal Palace, bit different. They tend to play like a double number 10 with Eze in there. Let's see how Rodriguez gets on against him, and then we can maybe see if we can get excited or not. Simon said it's nice to see us try and play football. I enjoyed it. Marley's excited for Scars. Lloyd said everything, get rid of Dice to get Moyes. Do you think it's like us getting rid of Moyes to get Lopetegui? To some extent, I think he'll do well there. By the way, I do. I think he'll do well there. Michael says, "Can't be no outgoings in this window with the injuries. Do you think we'll get anyone in?" That's a double negative. Be careful. Double negative. It's one of my things in life. Double negatives. Yeah, I think we will make side. I don't think anyone will leave. If someone does, I think it'll be like Cornet will come back, and then you'll go out to France or something like that. In terms of players coming in, I think we'll get 2. I'm not sure which 2. I think one will be striker, and I think one will be a midfielder. I'm not sure we'll get a defender. I think we need one. I agree. Previously, I do think we could do with a centre back, but it depends on Tadibo. I think we need. Well, we don't, and I'm hoping he's got it. But there needs to be a little bit of clarification over Tadibo, because when there was like the club leak things, and as football fans, we cling to the transfer stuff. Naturally, it's more exciting. So when a transfer story gets confirmed or rejected, we stick to it as fans. We go, "Oh, I have that." But there was actually something that was leaked by the club during the week that nobody pays attention to, and it was an update regarding injuries, and it was Sean that put it out there. In regards to Tadibo, it said, "Oh, he got injured, went to France, and the club don't know where he is." I mean, assuming that's come from David Sullivan, which is a fair assumption, that's not a good situation to be in. So we'll wait and see. I think we need a little bit of clarity on that. And I think because we've won, we're able to push that to the side a little bit and focus on the good feelings that we've got, which is a good thing. But there's a bit of a situation happening with Tadibo. Where's he gone? Alan said it's nice to see us use the whole squad. Paul thought from 20 minutes onwards we were good and organised, but a bit sloppy from 70 minutes on. Lewis says another thing I've noticed is that Potter has done is making opposition players play out wide. He kept, I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Alvarez. I'm sure it was Alvarez. He told him to be compact. I think it was Alvarez because he went running forward at one point. People were saying they seen Tadibo at the game last night. Well, there you go then. John's seen him. Mark's seen him. And Callum's seen him. That's enough for me. That's 3 people. Happy days. Well, that's good then. But he was... I'm not joking about the tweet, by the way. If you go see the tweet, I assume Sean hasn't deleted it. It was definitely there. Regarding the Celtic striker, I've already commented on him. I know people have just joined and stuff like that 10 minutes ago. everyone keeps commenting 24 goals and 24 games. Romano sort of stitched everyone up a little bit? I'm going to have a look. Right, where is Fabrizio Romano? Let's have a look. See what he said. He's normally got pictures, so let me just scroll down. Oh, here's a Celtic player. West Ham and Brighton are both keen on signing 18-year-old striker Daniel Cummings, with Celtic pushing for him to stay, sign a new deal. 24 goals in 24 games this season for Cummings, out of contract. Yeah, I mean, correct. B team, not the first team. He's Romano stitched a few people up with that one there. That one. James said Porter said Tadebo was with a physio and he was at the game yesterday. There you go. Happy days. Bloody Sean Whetstone. Hey, he's got me there. Hook, line, and sinker. Sean. Cole says, to be fair, the information comes from Sullivan. I'm not surprised he doesn't know what's going on. Major saying question, could it get European football? Yes. If you want me to explain how, I will. It's a bit long-winded. If enough people want me to, I'll do it. But I don't want to stick it in if people don't want to see it, hear it. Robert saying that Dutch midfielder Banzuzi is on an attacking midfielder who plays in Belgium United. But there's I've seen that Dutch guy that we're linked to, but I can't say much about him. I'm maybe going to fire up the old Wise Scout today and tomorrow, and have a little look at him. And there's a couple of strikers in the French league that I might have a little look at and see what the vibes I've got. Right, okay. Enough people want to know about the 8th place European football. I'll do it. Before I do it, if you don't want to go, if you don't want to hear it, go now. But before you do, please do drop a like on the video by clicking thumbs up, Sky News Hammers Chat. And now I'm going to tell you how 8th place could get European football. So at the minute, I wish I had a whiteboard here. At the minute, so I can patronise you even further. Right now, the top 4 get Champions League football and 5th get Europa League, and that's it. The winners of the Carabao Cup get the Conference League. Winners of the FA Cup get the Europa League. That's how England are allocated 7 spots for European football. That's how they're distributed. Because of the new format for the Champions League, 2 countries get an additional Champions League spot. Now, England didn't get last season mainly because of the performances of Man United and Newcastle United in the Champions League. They were the ones that really hindered England getting that extra slot. However, this season, the English sides are performing really well in the Champions League. So the supercomputer says a 97% chance right now. So the probability is 97% that England will get that 5th Champions League spot this season. So 5th spot right now in the Premier League, 97% chance. It's not 100. It's incredibly likely that will be Champions League football. So if that happens, top 5 Champions League, 6 gets Europa League. Capiche? Winner of the Carabao Cup, Conference League, winner of the FA Cup, Europa League. If the winners of those 2 trophies are in the top 6 of the Premier League, that European reward will then go into the Premier League. So the Carabao Cup right now, Newcastle are leading against Arsenal, and we've got Spurs leading against Liverpool. We know Liverpool will finish in the top 6. We know Arsenal will finish in the top 6. Newcastle look like they could finish in the top 6. Spurs won't. But so I think Spurs winning the Carabao Cup, 8th ain't getting European football. Newcastle, possibly. Arsenal and Liverpool. If Arsenal and Liverpool qualify for the final, 7th is getting European football. So we need one of those to win the Carabao Cup, and then the Conference League comes into the Premier League positionings. And then it's the same for the FA Cup. Obviously, it's way too early to even take a punt at who's going to win it. But essentially, we, as West Ham fans, what we want is teams in the top 5, 6 of the Premier League to win the Carabao Cup, to win the FA Cup, and then in May, top 5 Champions League, 6th and 7th Europa League, 8th Conference League. So we finish 8th and everything goes in our favour. We'll have European football next season. Hopefully I didn't patronise you too much, but there you go. Hopefully that makes sense. Right then, let's have a quick look and see what you're saying. Callum wants a whiteboard. Holly said, loved the Fulham game. Wasn't pretty, but we got 3 points. Potter looks promising. Lewis says, not just because of the goal, but there is definitely a really good player in Solar. I'm hoping Potter can tap in to that one. Dick says, get the iPad out. I think it's dead, actually. Yeah, it's dead. There you go. Unfortunately, put that back on its stand there. Dan is saying I explain it in the review. I feel like I explain it a lot, but I appreciate that people tune out, don't they, when I'm banging on about it, which don't blame them. Joshua said, "If Spurs and United win Europa, that may affect it. 9 English sides in Europe season's mental 6 and championship." Incorrect. If Man U finish 14th but win the Europa League, they will get Champions League football. It does not impact the Well, sorry, you're right. Actually, you're right. I just before people start asking things, if say Liverpool win the Premier League and win the Champions League, their Champions League spot for winning Premier League doesn't come into the league. It just remains 5. It's a completely different reward. So you won't get 9th is definitely impossible. 9th is impossible to get European football. I think some people can sometimes get misled. So there you go. Barry says, even the supercomputer wants Spurs to lose. I agree. Callum says, thought Emerson was quite good. Would you start him or Scarra? I'm happy with either, to be honest with you. I'm happy with either. I think Scarra should have started last night, obviously pre-game. I think Emerson had a good game, but I thought Scarra deserved to keep his shirt with his performance from Aston Villa. And I was disappointed to see it not happen. But I was really pleased to see him come on. Again, the game's in the balance. Traore's come on. Porter immediately responds by getting Creswell and Scarra and saying, right, double up on him. And it's a big responsibility for Scarra, and there's a significant physical difference between the two of them as well. And I thought he did well. So I think it's a huge vote of confidence. And I think sometimes maybe I'm guilty of just wanting the younger players to go in and stay in and let's see if they sink or swim. Whereas for Porter, who manages the situation better than I would have done. So we'll see. In regards to Palace, I'm happy with either. Sounds a bit weird, but I'm okay with either of them. I think they both deserve to start, possibly. I think they both had some good games. Neil says much has been made of the 2 gifted goals, but we've got nothing said about theirs coming from Fabianski flapping like a whale on the beach. I think there's been plenty. In the review, there's been plenty of people digging out Fabianski personally. I think I've seen plenty of criticism for it. Marley says Scarra should start fresh legs and he deserves it. He was very good. Fordy says Emerson's lack of pace may be a concern against Palace's front line. Scarra's in. Right, I'm going to wrap it up there. Been blabbing away for 33 minutes. Thank you very much for joining me. I always do enjoy doing these debrief videos. And it's nicer doing it after a win. Sometimes you go to do it after a loss, and it's a bit like everybody's grumpy, everyone's angry, and it's not nice to read, everybody being upset. But to see people, when I titled it, I can't remember what I titled it, Porter brings fun back to West Ham. I think he's done that. I do feel like I can sense happiness in the live chat, in the review last night, and it's very pleasing. I'm going to do the player ratings with Gonzo once he's up. I'm looking forward to it. It's just going to be positivity. A lot of man in the match contenders last night. Wan-Bissaka, Alvarez, Paqueta, Soler, Soucek. I'm looking forward to discussing it. It's fun. Anyway, I'll be back later on tonight with my podcast with Frankie. I think Frankie's enjoying it as well. I'll catch you then.